So the process we just described is called discounting a note. And what we are doing, like we said, is we are the owner of a simple interest note that somebody else owes to us. And we are turning around and using that simple interest note to secure that simple discount note from the bank. So let's write out the situation here. Let's say that Tom extends a $7,200 9% 90-day note to Kevin. After 40 days, Tom discounts the note to a bank at 11%. Now you might be looking here and say, well, what's the dates, the time for the discount note to the bank? Well, that is all predetermined by the original note. What we want to find here is find Tom's proceeds. So it's the proceeds is the money that Tom is going to get from the bank. Remember, that's the amount you get on a simple discount note after they take out the discount. So our step one deals with finding the maturity value of the original note. We have to know what is going to be the face value of that discount note to the bank. So to do that, we find the maturity value of the original note. So we're going to find the interest on that original note. So I is going to equal, how do we find the interest? 7,200. 0.09 is our rate. 90 over 360. What about the 40 days? No, not yet. Yeah. The original note is for 90 days, and we want to know if that original note had been allowed to go to maturity, what would the balance be? What would the maturity value be? Because that's what the bank is going to collect from Kevin here. So that is going to be, what is it, $162 is the interest? So that's the interest. So then the maturity value is the original amount, 7,200, plus the 162 gives us $7,362. That is the maturity value of the original note. Step 2. We need to find the discount period. Haven't really used that term yet. The discount period is the term of a simple discount note. A a simple discount. The simple discount note here is going to be once Tom turns that note over to the bank or borrows from the bank. This is kind of tricky, so we need to be careful here. This is, how long is this note? 90 days. On what day does Tom go to the bank with it? Day 40. The discount period is equal to the days left in the original note. So it is a 90-day note. How many days have gone by? 40 days have gone by, have passed. That means when we subtract those, that there are 90 minus 40, 50 days left. That is the time the bank will hold the note. That's the 50 days. That is the definition of the discount period. It's the time the bank will hold that note before they collect. So there's 50 days left. So the discount period here is 50 days. Part 3. Now parts 3 and 4, steps 3 and 4 are sometimes combined in just saying find the proceeds. I'm going to break it down into 2 though. Find the bank's discount or the bank discount. This is the discount on the simple interest note. We need to first know what is the face value of the SDN, of the simple discount note. It is the maturity value of the original note. So that is the $7,362 from the original note. So to find the bank's discount, what was the bank's discount rate? 11% is the bank's discount rate. So to find the discount, we're going to use the $7,362 times 0.11. And again, that 0.11 is the bank discount rate. Times the discount period, which is 50 days. So 7,362 times 0.11 times 50 divided by 360. $112.48. That is the bank's discount. That's how much the bank is charging for giving this money to Tom and waiting to collect it from Kevin. So finally, the proceeds. This is actually the amount that Tom receives from the bank at this point we've done most of the heavy lifting. It is the maturity value of the SDN, or not maturity, the face value of the SDN, which is the $7,362. I said maturity value because it's the maturity value from the original note, but it's the face value of the simple discount note. Minus the discount. So minus the $112.48 gives us $7,249.52, I believe. That is Tom's proceeds. In other words, that's the amount that Tom will actually receive from the bank. And hopefully, Kevin pays the bank at the end. Because at the end, the bank is going to get $7,362. Okay, I'm going to pause for a breath there. Any questions?
I like that it's broken down into so many steps because I can use that in my notes.
Okay. Good. Well, let's now do another complete example where we're going through the same steps. Then I'll give you an example to use. Let's see that Mark loans Frank $11,000 at 6.2% for 120 days. On day 23, Frank discounts the note to a bank at 9.8%. Why did I say Frank? Frank did not discount anything, did he? So I'm going to pause. Who discounted the note? Mark. Mark owned the note. Mark discounted the note to the bank on day 23 at 9.8%. Find Mark's proceeds. Where do I start? I got kind of squeaky there. Where do I start? Maturity value of the original note. So to do that, we need to find, of course, first the interest. How do we find the interest? What are we going to put in here? I equals what? 11,000. $0.062 is my rate. 120 over 360. Very good. So 11,000 times 0.062 times 120 over 360. $227.33. Does that look correct for the interest? So then our next step then is the maturity value, which is the 11,000 principal plus the 227.33 in interest. So $11,227.33. What is step 2? Find the discount period. How do I do that?
The original days is 120, and if you did it at 23, then you would add 100 minus 23 to get the remaining.
Perfect. 120 days from the original note minus the 23 days that have passed equals 97 days remaining. Remember that 97 days, that's how long the bank is going to be holding that note until they get repaid. What's that? Oh, day 23. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said that. I mean, that's the first time I haven't been the one that was wrong tonight, so I'm happy. So that is our discount period, is 97 days. What's step 3? Find bank discount. So what do we use to find that bank discount? The maturity value of the original loan was going to be the face value of that. The maturity value from that original loan is how much?
$11,227.33.
You got it. 11,227.33. What is the bank's discount rate? 9.8%, so 0.098. And how long? 97 over 360. So 11,227.33 times 0.098 times 97 divided by 360. 296.46. That's the bank's discount. That's the money that the bank is going to charge to hold this note. Step 4. Mark.
Value of the simple discount note minus the discount for the total proceeds.
Perfect. Mark's proceeds is going to be the face value of the SDN. That's this amount. Minus the discount, which is going to give us, and boy, it's getting late because I can't even think about doing that one in my head. $10,930.87. So Mark's proceeds is $10,930.87. Now, something I want to point out here. How does this amount compare to the amount that Mark originally lent to Kevin here? Frank, sorry. Mark lent out $11,000 to Frank. He's only getting back $10,930.87. He's losing $69.13 here. Getting back less than the original amount of the original note. Back here, Tom's proceeds were $7,249 when that original note was $7,200. So Tom still got back more than what the original note was. There's two things going on here. First of all, in this first example, the rate of the original note and the discount rate were closer together. And I think 9 to 11% is a big jump, but it's not huge. Second, In this first note, Tom had held it for 40 out of the 90 days. That's close to half of the time. Down here, the discount rate and the rate of the original note are a lot further apart. And Mark only held this for 23 out of 120 days. Only about 1/6 of the time. Between 1/6 and 1/5 of the time. So Mark held this note for a lot less of the period of it. So it's going to cost, the bank's going to have to hold it for longer, so they're going to have to charge more.
On the first one,
Yep.
why would you get more than what?
Well, because the bank still gives credit for the interest that's going to be earned on that note. Because remember, it's the 7,200. The original note 7,200, but at the end of the note, they would have received $7,362 because of the interest. So the bank's basing everything off that $7,362. And the bank's discount, what they charged was less than the interest that was going to be earned on the original note. So they still came out with more money than what they started with. This is a process that's used by a lot of local banks if they do mortgages. Many local banks do not keep those mortgages. They send them out to a mortgage company. So they will arrange for the mortgage with the homeowner, and then they will turn around and they will sell it. They'll discount it to a large mortgage broker of some sort.
So in that case, the bank could still make more money.
Well, the bank actually loses money slightly by selling the mortgage, where most local banks make their money is on the closing costs of the mortgage.
Because here,
It's kind of a big mess though, that actually just happened where I'm living, and
Yeah.
all the paperwork that homeowners have to do is nuts.
Yeah.
in here on the first one, he's actually making money.
Yeah, but he held that note for we're looking at a mortgage, how long you hold it. You're looking at a mortgage being a 30-year note. The local bank isn't going to hold it for like 5 or 10 years. They're going to sell it within the first couple months.
Okay.
So they're losing money on that because they're selling it very, very early in the term of the note. But what they're losing on that is less than what they made on the closing costs. So they're basically being paid to process the loan, not to hold the loan.
That's why some local banks use the PPA.
Yeah, because they don't. There's a limit on what they can charge for closing costs. Okay, I'm gonna have you guys do an example of this. Actually, we're gonna have you guys do 2 examples of this because I'm gonna put a slight twist in the second example, and then we're gonna call it a night. Al extends a 90-day $7,800 7% note to Pete on day 53. Al discounts the note to a bank at 10%. Find Al's proceeds. Now, before you start calculating here, do you think Al is going to get? Al started out giving or lending $7,800. Do you think Al is going to end up with more or less than that in the end? He did hold it for 53 out of 90 days, so that's more than half of the term. So that's good in his favor. 7% was the original term, 10% is the discount rate. That's a pretty big difference. That works kind of against him. So this is kind of a toss-up. I'd say probably close to break even, may make a slight amount, but not a huge amount. So go ahead, and I'm going to give you a few minutes to try that, and we'll talk about this in about 4 minutes. Let's see where this takes us. Step 1. Maturity value of the original note. Tell me what to do to find it.
$7,800 times 0.07 times 90 divided by 360.
Okay, and what do we get?
$136.50.
$136.50. It gives us a maturity value. I'm going to combine those two numbers to get $7,936.50. How many are with us so far? Okay, anybody have questions on how we got to this point? Perfect. Step 2 is what?
Take 90 days and subtract that to 53.
Okay, we find the discount period, and that is the term of the original note, which is 90 days, minus the number of days that have already gone by, which is 53, which turns out to be 37 days left. That's our discount period. Okay. What's happening here is you have a timeline. This is the start of the original note, right? The original note. That would have gone 90 days.
I see it in.
You got it?
Real quick, and I did 11,800.
Oh, gotcha. So 7. Okay. I'm going to finish this graphic just for the heck of it. So then at 53 days, that's when it was sold or sent to the bank. And it's from there on that's our discount period. So that's why it's 90 minus 53 gives 37 days. Which wasn't related to the question you were asking anyway, but it's okay. So we got 37 days for a discount period. What's step 3?
Bank discount.
Find the bank discount. What do I use for that?
$7,936.50.
$7,936.50, which is the maturity value of the original note. Times 0.10, which is the bank's discount rate, times
37 divided by 360.
37 over 360, which gives us
$81.57.
$81.57. That's the bank's discount. Step 4. So
Find the proceeds for.
we'll just find the
Al.
proceeds. I don't even remember who the name was we were dealing with here. It is Al's, apparently. Yeah. So Al's proceeds are the 7,936 and 50 cents minus that discount of 81.57, which is going to be $7,854.93. Correct?
Yep.
How many of you got all the way there? I'm impressed. That's one of our best batting averages ever on the first example for those. So since we were doing so well, let's do this. Come on. On November 4th, Carl extends a $5,900 7.3% 120-day note to Pam. On January 11th, bless you, Carl discounts the note to a bank at 10.6%. Find Carl's proceeds. I'm going to give you 5 minutes for this one because it's a little bit trickier. Some of you are not quite done, but it is that time. Let's go over it. Step 1, maturity value of the original note. Now, part of the difficulty here is we need some dates. So can somebody give me the date for November 4th? 308. Let's see. January 11th, of course, is 11. We do know the original note is 120 days. So we gave you that. Makes it a little easier. So let's find that original interest. Which is going to be 5,900.073 times 120 over 360. Gives us how much? 143.57 is the interest. So the maturity value, and just for the sake of time, I'm just going to say we're going to add those two together. So 6,043.57 is the maturity value. Questions so far? Okay. Step 2. This is where it gets tricky. Discount period. Well, I have up here that November 4th date to the January 11th, right? This was 308 to 365. Of course, this is 11. What's that? Should come out to be 57. So yeah, let's do a 365 minus 308 is 57 there. Right? Plus the $11 is 68 days. Total. Okay. That's how many days have gone by. Or have passed, however you want to word it. So yes, it's 120, which is the term of the note, minus the days that have gone by, means there are 52 days left. That's how long the bank is going to have to hold the note. So that's my discount period. That is, on these problems, probably the biggest mistake that is made is forgetting. They find the days that have gone by, but they forget to subtract it from the term to get how many days are left. Step 3. Find the bank discount, which is going to use the 6043.57. That is the maturity value of the original loan, becomes the face value of the discount note, times it's the bank's discount rate. 10.6% is 0.106. And 52 is my period over 360. So if you had that period wrong, of course, this interest would be incorrect. So I'll do 6043.57 times 0.106 times 52 over 360. 92.53 is that discount. So finally, proceeds will be that face value for the simple discount note of $6,043.57 minus the discount of $92.53, which is going to give us $5,951.04 are the proceeds. How many of you had that? Good deal. Okay, well, I think we have had enough for the night. We have now had a lecture. This is the second lecture of Unit 3, so we do have a quiz that is due tomorrow, Thursday at 11:59 p.m. And there is a new homework due for next class, next Wednesday. If you want to use the last 5 minutes, the computer lab next door is open for you. Otherwise, have a great Easter, and we'll see you next week.